I have got a confession. I quite like Doctor Who.
Bingle bongle dingle dangle, yickety doo, yickety da, ping pong, lippy tappy too ta.
If you're lonely, you can talk to me. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Okay, so firstly, the channel's doubled in subscribers since the last time I saw you, so hello. Thank you all very much for watching. I love you all very much, especially you. I don't even care that you're butt ugly. I love you anyway, because that's just the kind of great guy I am. So yeah, heads up, this video is kind of a mess. I was going to talk about the entire show, but I'm going to Portugal in 6 days, which is something I wasn't really anticipating was going to happen. So yeah, this video's got a really abrupt ending, but there'll be a part 2 eventually, allegedly. If you haven't seen Doctor Who before, then congrats on missing out on 60 years worth of programming. Do I really need to give it an intro? Like, even if you haven't seen this show before, I presume you know, like, the Doctor can turn into different people when he's about to die. He travels around in this box thing, which is big on the inside. His greatest enemies are one-eyed pepper pots with egg whisks and toilet plungers. This show's fucking wild, man. I'm gonna be controversial. The show does not start very well. This is Rose. She's an ordinary girl in an ordinary world, but that all changes when this domestic terrorist blows up her job. Run. All the character stuff between Rose and Nine is great. You watch it to try and figure out just who the frick-frack this guy actually is, and it's all done very well. But between all this great character stuff, there's a lot of, shite.
Darling.
Babe, sugar, sweetheart.
What are you doing that for?
It's a bit of a tonal fuckity-doo there. Some fans might write this off as saying, you know, the show's camp, the show's silly, you're just overanalyzing it. And my response to that is, well yeah, of course I am. Do you realise how fucking stoned I am right now? Because of all this, the first half of Series 1 is mixed as hell. All of the episodes have their great moments, but there's a lot of goofy shit mixed in as well. Luckily from episode 6 onwards, it's pretty much nothing but bangers. Episode 6 is called Dalek, where Nine meets a Dalek.
I've come to help. I'm the Doctor. Impossible.
Fucking love it. His people and the Daleks just had a massive falling out, and now everyone's dead besides the Doctor and this metal maniac. Kinda loses his fucking mind in this, and I am so here for it.
Why don't you finish the job and make the Daleks extinct? Rid the universe of your filth. Why don't you just die?
The next episode is called The Long Game, and it's about social media. It was ahead of its time. Also, Simon Pegg's there. And fun fact, this is supposed to be the year 200,000. Sure looks it. What the fuck is that haircut? Also, Simon Pegg's there. Wait, I said that. Can I save my dead dad from dying, Doctor? No. I did it anyway. Now everything is fucked! That's basically the story of Father's Day, but it's really emotional, and it's like, to this day, one of the best Doctor Who episodes that plays with the idea of time travel. So far, this man, Russell T Davies, has been doing most of the writing of the show, the two big exceptions for today's lesson being Mark Gatiss and Stephen Moffat. Now, one of these guys is my favourite Doctor Who writer, and the other is my least favourite. So who's who? Well, this series, one wrote an episode where Charles Dickens meets ghosts at Christmas, and he somehow managed to make that into a pretty boring episode. And the other guy wrote the story that gave an entire generation nightmares. If you grew up in the UK during the mid-2000s and you saw this story and you claim that it didn't traumatize you, that's some fucking cat, bro. I was only really scared by 2 episodes of this show when I was a kid, and I am not ashamed to say that this was one of them. The villain of the story is basically a virus that turns you into a gas mask wearing psycho zombie. And the lead of the gas mask zombies is this 4-year-old kid. And he's looking for his mum, who he's lost in a World War II blitz. It's got atmosphere for days, man. I mean, obviously I can look back at it now and laugh. Fucking hell! Look, I don't want to spoil the details, but if you were gonna watch a Nine story, then make it this one, because you won't regret it. So after this story, there's an okay episode, and then there's the finale, where they do Big Brother, but it's in the future, and it's all horribly dated.
Attention everyone, what's the procedure? Stay calm!
After establishing one Dalek can easily kill hundreds of people, RTD does an Alien to Aliens. You've seen one, now here's a boatload of the pepper pots.
We have your associate. You will obey or she will be exterminated.
No.
I've never found Daleks that scary, but it's a testament to Christopher Eccleston's performance as 9 and RTD's writing that this is maybe my favourite episode of the show. Yeah, I might say that more than once. Although this story is not perfect, and I'd say The Empty Child is objectively better, I think this is like my most watched thing. Like the thing I have seen the most times in my life. It's either this or Revenge of the Sith. You can make your own conclusions what that says about me as a person. I watched this pretty much on loop when I was a kid, and I've never really fallen out of love with it. The Daleks kill basically everyone, even 9 doesn't make it out alive. And yeah, in his final moments, when he's about to turn into David Tennant, 9 doesn't cry or moan like a little bitch, unlike some people.
It means I'm going to change, and I'm not going to see you again. Before I go, I just want to tell you were fantastic. And you know what? So was I.
I'm fine.
Hello.
So then, Series 1. Well, much like this bag, its contents are pretty mixed. You can take this on a plane, right? Although the first half has some good moments, and I won't call any of the episodes in this series outright terrible, there's definitely a lot of cringy shit in there as well. To be honest, I wouldn't recommend Series 1 as a jumping on point for your casual viewer. However, if you are willing to stick through it, it is rewarding. I would say that the second half of the series is good enough that it definitely outweighs the first half. Dalek, Father's Day, Empty Child, Parting the Ways. These are some of the best goddamn episodes this show's ever had. So for that reason, I'd probably rank it... Oh yeah, shit, I should probably think of a way of ranking these. Yeah, okay, it's not exactly my most original move, but what are you gonna do? It is mixed, but we're gonna put it in A. I think it deserves an A. Sooooooo!
Are we in Scotland?
I like 10, but he's not one of my favourites. And I'll be honest, I really don't like him with Rose. When Rose was with 9, although they were a bit lovey-dovey, she would still regularly call him out on his bullshit.
It gets inside and it changes my mind and you didn't even ask.
I didn't think about it like that.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
When Rose is with 10 though, she's just like willing to do whatever. You know the point where like it's past cute and it just gets annoying? Yeah, that's a lot of the series. Series 2 as well is another mixed bag, but like even more so. The quality episode to episode is all over the place. Episode 1 has the Doctor saving the day by mixing all the medicine together and sprinkling it at zombies. Yeah, I don't think that's how medicine works. Episode 2 is average. Episode 3 is kind of a mess, but it's saved by having a lot of good actors in it. Stephen Moffat comes back for episode 4. This one's called Girl in the Fireplace, and it's really fucking good. It's clever, it plays around with time, and the story has a great but subtle payoff. It's also an episode that really plays to 10's strengths. He's seen as being a kind of romantic Doctor, which, you know, is part of the reason why I don't like him. But to be fair, I think in this episode, it really works.
You're so thick.
I'd fall in love with David Tennant too, who can blame them? Watch it, it's good. This is followed by a 2-part Cybermen Spectacular, which is... okay, it's just okay. If you don't know who the Cybermen are, they're the Doctor's second biggest villains after the Daleks. They used to be human, but they've had their bodies replaced with steel and their minds wiped of emotion. The reason why they don't have any emotion is because having a sex change to a washing machine is a little bit painful. So they say nuts to that and commit to becoming the literally me archetype. Now this might not sound all that interesting by modern day standards, but remember, these fucks are from the 1960s, so I'd say the concept was pretty ahead of its time. Trouble is, it's apparently really hard to write Cybermen stories because it's gonna take like a decade before the show makes a decent one.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
Hey, it's Mark Gaius, and he's written the first bad episode of Doctor Who. A TV steals people's faces, there's really bad acting, and it ends with Rose telling a kid to go look after his abusive father. And that's not a great final message, Mark.
Oh my God! What's wrong with your face?
In Mark's defense, there are 2 other stinkers, one written by Russell T Davies. That's called Love and Monsters, which took a big swing and a miss at the idea of doing a Doctor Who episode without the Doctor. Yeah, I know it sounds daft, but your boy Steven's about to go to town on it next series, so keep your eyes open. Really though, what lets this episode down is the last 15 minutes, where the big villain is finally revealed.
What the hell is even that?
Let's just try and move past that. The other dumpster fire of an episode this series is called Fear Her. It's just really boring, and I don't want to bully the child actor in this, but you know, it's not usually a good idea to have children in things, is it? These three are not good. They're really not good. Amongst this mess though is this two-parter called The Satan Pat and the Impossible Planet, in which the Doctor fights the literal devil. It's actually pretty good. It's got a lot of good horror elements to it, and the Beast as a villain is quite compelling actually. Probably one of 10's best, check it out. And now onto the series finale, which might be 10's most iconic episode. I still one way is wearing 3D glasses, and I'm fairly sure I've seen that on the Build-A-Bear, so... This is also famous for being the episode in which Rose dies. She's just being fucking overdramatic, as per usual. Okay, big time spoilers incoming. If you don't want it spoiled, big time spoilers happening in 3, 2... This episode is probably most famous for having both the Daleks and Cyberman in it, which, you know, at the time was really fucking exciting. But in hindsight, Part 1 spends the entire time building up the threat of the Cybermen. It's actually a really good Cyberman story. But then in the final minute, it's like, oh no, fuck, this is going to be a Dalek story actually. And the Dalek part of the story is honestly pretty half-baked. Now don't get me wrong, it is not a bad episode. But I don't know, once you get past the whole, oh, it's two things I recognise and they're fighting. Once you get past all of the hype. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, once you get past the hype of, oh my god, it's Daleks and Cybermen, then, yeah, it's good, but it's not great. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, this might be the messiest series of this show. It is like such a mixed bag. It has got its great stories, but there's also a lot of shite as well. Putting in air. Oh yeah, and I changed like the names and shit. Series 3! Rose is gone now, so you better get used to 10 being a mopey little bitch, because that's pretty much his whole personality in this series. We start strong with Smith and Jones, which is finally a series opener that's actually pretty good. We follow Martha, who's going to be the new companion for this series, who in my opinion is pretty underrated. She's training to be a doctor at this hospital, and all of a sudden, the hospital gets put on the fucking moon. That's because Rhino policemen are looking for a patient alien person who's hiding at the hospital, because... reasons. The Doctor meets Martha, they have a bit of a snog. Fucking calm down, 10! When it's all said and done, 10 invites Martha to go for a bit of time travelling. It's a pretty solid episode. I mean, it's weird, but it's pretty solid. Following this though is the Shakespeare Code, which is bad, and also features the worst line committed to television.
Which house? Which house?
After this, there's an episode called Gridlock, which is really weird, but I think it kind of works. There's this scene where this couple, yeah, that's a couple, show the Doctor their kids, and it's just a bunch of kittens. Like, how does that work? I don't know if it's just nostalgia or what, but I know 3 other people who like this one as well for seemingly no reason. So maybe there's something to it. The episode also has maybe my favourite piece of music in the entire show. The thumbnail looks like this. It's just such a great melody. Marigold is a genius. But yeah, this one might not be for you, but I quite like it. Guess who's back? Again, Daleks in Manhattan and Evolution of the Daleks is a story where the Daleks jump the shark. I mean, look at this. Fucking look at this! This one was not written by Russell. It was actually written by the script editor of a couple of other different stories. It features this abomination. The Daleks turn people into pigs. There's some of the fucking worst attempts at American accents I've ever heard. It's not good. It's really not good. Bear in mind, by this point we'd had 4 Dalek stories in 3 series. They were being severely overused and they were really starting to lose their manners by this point. And it doesn't help that the story itself is fucking shite. They must have also used a lot of the budget filming in New York because the creature for next week's story looks like this. That episode is called The Lazarus Experiment, and I guess it starts out alright, but then it just descends into this pretty repetitive and boring chase. And yeah, it really doesn't help that the monster looks like that.
Oh, hi, Mark.
After this is an episode called 42, which I think is a pretty underrated episode. Now don't get me wrong, that's not me saying it's good, I think it's just alright. But this episode gets a lot of hate because of the guy who wrote it. It was written by this guy, Chris Chibnall, and he's important because in about a decade, he's going to take over the show. And he's going to make a right fucking mess of it. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So far this series, we've had 2 good episodes, 1 average episode, and quite a lot that are pretty not good. But that's about to change. There's a 2-parter called Human Nature and Family of Blood. where the Doctor is a human, but he doesn't know that. I mean, he knows he's human because he thinks he's human because he is human, but he doesn't know that he's the Doctor, or used to be the Doctor, and shenanigans ensue. It's bloody good stuff, and it addresses historical racism without just brushing it off as a non-issue, which is good, I think. Racism is bad. But yeah, I don't want to spoil it too much because this one is definitely worth watching. But TLDR, the Doctor does not come off well in this one. It's pretty interesting. Stephen S. Russell here. Look, I tried writing a Doctor Who episode without the Doctor and I went to shit a bit. Do you think you could write one? Sure. And can I introduce the most iconic monster of the modern era? Yep. And can it be the most critically acclaimed episode of the show, or indeed probably everything you will ever do? No sweat, baby cakes.
I don't know what stopped you talking, but I can guess. They're coming. Your life could depend on this. Don't blink. Don't even blink. Blink and you're dead. They are fast, faster than you could believe. Don't turn your back. Don't look away, and don't...
You know these guys, right? The weeping angels. They can only move when you're looking away from them, and when they move, they shoot off quicker than your dad when he's trying to please a woman. When the angels get you, they zap you back in time, and live off the energy from all the days you might have had. So one minute you're in modern day 2007, and the next you're in the far past of 1972 or whatever. Blink is most people's first Doctor Who story, which is ironic considering it isn't really like any other episode of the show, but hey, I don't really need to say anything about it. To this day, it's still the highest rated episode of the show on IMDb. It won awards. I have nothing further to add. Blink and Human Nature do a lot of heavy lifting getting this series back on track, but the W's keep coming. The next episode is called Utopia, and it's pretty underrated in my opinion. Aside from featuring the extras from Mad Max, which admittedly is pretty bad, I really like this one. The story is basically about finding the last of humanity a safe refuge from the end of the universe, and it all goes pretty well, until this guy cures his dementia and then things go very badly wrong. I like episodes where the Doctor isn't just fighting monsters. I think we can do more interesting things with a near-immortal, super-intelligent time traveller than him just fighting pepperpots every week. This story actually marks the start of the show's first three-parter, with part 2 being The Sound of Drums, which is... it's alright. The Master's here, by the way. He's the other last of the Time Lords. It's a whole thing. Very Gold is killing it with the music as per usual. It's good, but it's just hard to judge it because of part 3. Oh, part 3. Okay, so Last of the Time Lords is a goddamn dumpster fire. So, this is the last day before I leave. Like literally, we're just gonna have to multitask. So the Master takes over the entire world, right? And he turns the Doctor into this really old guy, and then he turns the Doctor into this thing. What is with this series creating absolute abominations to the eyes? I'm gonna spoil the end for you because it's fucking bad and it's ridiculous and it doesn't really matter. So the Master's been ruling the world for like an entire year, right? But then Martha goes travelling about and she gets everyone to literally pray for the Doctor. Like literally pray for the Doctor. And because everyone's minds are linked to some satellites, that does some fucking black magic fuckery.
I've had a whole year to tune myself into the psychic network and integrate with its matrices.
What the fuck?
That gets the Doctor back to normal, and then after that, they fucking press a reset button, and everything that the Master did just gets reversed. Literally none of it mad. A lot of people, and I don't just mean Doctor Who fans, like people in general, tend to look back on the RTD and David Tennant era with rose-tinted glasses. I refer you back to this episode, because it wasn't always good, guys. It was bad. It was really bad sometimes. Yeah, anyway, that about does it. This feels so harsh, but I'm gonna have to put it here. Look, Blink, Human Nature, and I'd even argue Utopia are pretty good, but it's just a fucking shit show. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. And we're out of time. It would have made sense if I covered series 1 to 4 in the first video. After all, series 4 was David Tennant's last series. It was also RTD's last series, and it was also both of their best series. Sorry for all the fans of the 10th Doctor, but I do really like series 4. I'm not just gonna shit on that one. It's a good one. Sadly, I'll have to cover that another day. I've left this so late. I'll probably be editing this video at the fucking airport. I am so bad at being on time for these. But the day this video comes out is going to be the day before the 60th anniversary episode, which has David Tennant returning as the Doctor, so that's going to be pretty good. So if you like this video and you've never really been into Doctor Who before, then maybe give it a watch. I would say that these episodes are good starting points. You can pretty much just jump in and see what you think. And yeah, the next time we see you will be in December, I suppose. If you want to support this video, the best thing you can do is share it, as well as like, subscribe, send nudes, all that good shit. See you next time!